Hello, Mixtresses and Mixters. This is Mixtress Ray. You're watching Mixtress video. So today I am kind of taking a break from the pick-a-pile readings. I got 4 swords for today. So I'm just doing just a little fun hangout session with my Oracle decks. Because I have been nerding out on Oracle decks lately, I've gotten a few new ones. I've reacquired some old ones. Well, one reacquisition. And I just thought I would show off my Oracle deck collection right now. So that's what we're doing. This is everything, with the exception of there are 3 decks that aren't here that I keep in a different space where they're sort of sacred to me right now, and I don't feel like talking about them. Or 2 of them aren't, but 1 of them is. Anyway. The full-size Kali Oracle is in the other room, and the full-size Isis Oracle, also by Alana Fairchild. Those 2 decks I keep in a specific other space, in a different altar space. And there's one other one that I just got this week that I am deciding that our relationship is secret right now. So that is, okay, with the exception of those 3, let me count. How many Oracle decks do I fucking have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So yeah, I mean, technically 25 altogether, because I don't count the full-size Kali Oracle as being a separate one, and I have 2 others in the other room. So yeah, I feel pretty comfortable with that. There are only 2 other decks that I want right now, and they're on my Amazon wish list if you want to buy them for me, because I'm a broke bitch. But yeah, there's only 2 others that I want right now, and I am really enjoying using Oracle decks at the moment for all the pick-a-pile readings and stuff. And yeah, so I just thought, let's do it. I'm basically going to show you what they are, whether or not I love them so much that I want to hug them, and what I use them for. So I'm just going to go no particular order here. So this is one of my most recent acquisitions. I got this one on Sunday, and as I record this, it's Friday. This is Modern Nirvana Oracle, and I have purposely turned the light way up because I wanted to I don't know if this is looking good. Oh well. I purposely turned my light way up because my videos have been looking really dark lately, and I'm seeing how this goes. Because hey, if it's overexposed, maybe I can fix that in post. Anyway, this one I consider to be a kind of basic, well-rounded Oracle deck that I will be using quite frequently on this channel. And I have, not physically yet, but I will soon be throwing away the box and the guidebook because I don't find them to be useful, but I like the art. So that is Modern Nirvana Oracle. And the ones that I store in this room, I'm just going to put them away as I talk about them. This one is the Kali Pocket Oracle. Again, I feel like it's just so overexposed you can't even see it, right? Okay, I'm going to turn the light down. Okay, I don't know, this might look terrible, but this is my Kali Pocket Edition. It's got the little messages on the back for the cards, and I like it. I use it a lot for my weekly patron readings, actually, and I keep it on a little coffin shelf on my wall over here. These 2, I guess I can talk about together, because these are my 2 Oracle decks. If you would like to acquire them for yourself, link is below. This is my Mixtress Oracle that I am super fucking proud of. Again, I don't know if you can see it at all. What is the deal with this light today? What is the deal with my light all the time? Do I just not know what I'm doing? This looks like nothing, right? And the problem is the view screen looks quite different than it looks afterwards. So it's possible you guys can actually see it. I don't know. Fuck. Okay. I'm gonna turn the light down. I just have to. Is this the worst? I feel like it's the worst. Anyway. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Because it's actually a bit dark in this room. I don't know. Anyway, sorry guys. This is bad. Oh my god. I wish I knew what this actually looks like, because if it doesn't look as bad as I think it looks, I'll just continue on without like bitching about it. But okay, so this is my Mixtress Oracle. Every card has the title of a song, the name of the artist, and then some lyrics from the song. And this is only about half the deck, because this deck is it's a 108 card deck, and about half of it they're blank cards, so you can add your own favorite songs. So this one, yeah, as far as like loving it, this is my magnum opus. I made it. I do love it a lot, and I really do enjoy using it for like pick-up pile readings, client readings, all that stuff, because I know these songs super well. They mean something to me. I associate them with particular tarot energies a lot of the time, and it's pretty good. Pretty good stuff. I like it. I'm proud. I'm actually really proud of that one. And this is my Magic and Medicine of Plants Oracle that I created a couple years before the Mixtress Oracle. And it's, I like it too. I used a book called The Magic and Medicine of Plants. That's why it's called Magic and Medicine of Plants Oracle. And I used my, my typewriter from like the 60s or 70s. I don't know when it's from. And I did this all by hand, and you can tell. But I do like it. I do like it. I feel like it's weird that like I have a plant deck, because I don't know that much about plants. But I created it because I wanted a deck like this, and it didn't exist in the way that I wanted it at the time when I created it in 2019. So I made it. This is one that if you have seen my channel ever, you've probably seen me use it, Vintage Wisdom Oracle. It's in order right now because of the video I did yesterday. I like it a lot. It's very well-rounded and basic. Threw the guidebook and the box away long ago, and I just keep it out at all times. So I'm just gonna put it away right now. Okay, so now we just have all of this bookshelf stuff. This is my JBG Oracle made by Julie. This is also one that I should have put in order and shown yesterday in my unfair comparisons. I just didn't think about it. This is also a great, it's just every card is a beautiful image from Jasmine Beckett Griffiths, like copyright-free images that she provided for people, and a very accessible keyword. This is a great one. You can get this on Julie's Make Playing Cards site, shop site. Probably under Peekaboo Rose. Just Google it. Googling is better than trying to use the search in the Make Playing Cards website, because it sucks. Okay. So that is the JBG Oracle. This one is my temporary place, because I don't like this bag for this deck. This is my temporary place for the Goddess Oracle. And this is another one that You could use it as a basic oracle deck, actually, because it has keywords at the bottom. But it's also got a really great guidebook. It was made in like 1998, if I remember correctly. And it's just an incredible, very well-rounded, lots of different pantheons of goddesses. Lots of different goddesses represented. The art is very well done and respectful of the cultures, as far as from what I can tell. I love it. I love it. And this one does not get enough use, because like if I pull a card from that, like for clients and stuff, I will feel bad if I don't know anything about the goddess. You know? This one is the Gods and Goddesses card deck, Mantras, Blessings, and Meditations. This is recent acquisition. I just got this like a couple months ago, maybe. And it has like goddess on the front, god or goddess on the front. This is all from the Hindu pantheon, which is my preferred. There's a mantra on the back, a little meditation, and some blessings, which, you know, if you were to use it as an oracle deck, the blessings would be good, like little prompts for an oracle, because it doesn't have like a guidebook or anything. But this is very also like all the proper symbolism is here for the different gods and goddesses. And this is what I will probably be using from now on for myself whenever I'm doing like, you know, sometimes I'll pull like a featured goddess for myself for like a season or a month or something like that. And I'm always disappointed when I use like a deck like Goddess Oracle that has all different kinds of pantheons in it, because the only pantheons I care about are Hindu and Egyptian for myself personally. So this one's going to be, like, I pull a card from this, I'm going to be more interested in the god or goddess represented, you know? And God, these are just so beautiful, these images. Incredible. So that's the Gods and Goddesses card deck. So if I didn't say, like, the way that I use that one is just for myself. And usually, like, I keep the cards out. Like, they're for being out, you know? Like, one card at a time on my altar. Those are altar cards, essentially. This is Fairy Enchantments. This is a spell deck. The way that I use this is... because every card has all these correspondences on it. They have like a color, a stone, a time of day, a like tree, animal, bird, item, place, you know, each one has like a made up like rune from Ian Daniels, who made this deck. And all this list of correspondences and these keywords. So essentially the way that the deck was created to work is like, okay, you pick 3 random cards. Pick 3 random cards, and you take the first word from the first card, second word, third word. So control, decisive, rebirth. And then you would craft a spell, or you could reorder it if you'd rather have like illuminate, virtuous, rebirth, or maybe you want transform, virtuous, victory. And then, so the idea is that that would be your phrase, transform, virtuous, victory. And then you would, in your journal or magical paper, whatever, you would create a combination of these 3 runes, sigils, whatever you call them. And then you would pick items from each of these lists to craft your spell. And so I use this I do seasonal like rituals for my patrons, and I use this deck to help me craft the rituals. And I use it for myself if I'm doing spell work and rituals for myself. Basically I like to use card decks for like everything. So I'm not good at like, you know, crafting my own rituals, and I don't like to use ritual and spell recipes. And that's a good combination of both, because you can you have some prompts to help you get started, but then you also get to choose however you want to do it at the same time, you know? This is one that I used to have, and I sent it to Meg, and she just sent it back to me this week. So thank you, Meg, because I was thinking about getting it again. And now I have my original copy back, and I didn't have to buy it, which is amazing. This one is just beautiful Danielle Noel art, and I don't know exactly how I'm going to be using it because I just got it back, and I wasn't really using it, which is why I sent it to Meg in the first place. So I had added keywords since these are all, I believe it's Sanskrit, Pratyahara, Samadhi. This is like, it has gods and goddesses in it, it has chakras, and it has like Ayurvedic and yogic path words and concepts. And I used a ballpoint pen because this was pre-Posca marker days. So I'm going to see if I can maybe remove what I put on here. I'm going to add the keywords back because I think I need them, but just do so in a more aesthetically pleasing way. But I love the art of this deck, and I do think that now that I'm using Oracle decks more often that I will be able to use this deck now. I just wasn't ready for it when I had it before, and now I feel like I am, and I'm just so happy that I didn't have to buy it again. This is Everyday Witch Oracle. I am feeling a little on the outs with this recently, but every time I get it out and look at it, it's a very accessible deck. You know, like here you have Speak Your Mind, Air Magic, I love that card, Meditation for Creativity, Water Magic. It's a very well balanced and well thought out deck. There are 40 cards in this deck, 10 to represent each element. And there's a bit of a structure to it, but also you can just read it intuitively. You don't need the guidebook. In fact, I hardly ever look at the guidebook. This is another of those decks that I've considered just throwing out the box and guidebook because I don't really need it. But this is like my most realistic looking Oracle deck. Like these look like real people, and that kind of freaks me out. And I've thought about getting rid of it several times. I've had it for years, but I really like it. It's very shuffleable. It's very practical. It's probably my most practical Oracle deck, in fact. So, and it doesn't take up much space. You know, it's just this tiny little box. So this one I need to break out for pick-a-pile readings and stuff again because I've been neglecting it. Next is Morgan's Tarot. This one you guys have seen a lot on this channel. I don't know if you can see it at all right now, but I'll figure it out, guys. I'm trying out new things with my camera. Today I put it on auto mode, so we'll see. I'm trying out new things. I will get it worked out, I swear. I figure things out as I go, so sorry about that. This one is funny. It's huge. It's like 88 cards. It came out in the 70s, 1970. Yeah, 1970. Came out in 1970. It's just amazing. It's probably my funniest Oracle deck, I would say. And it makes me laugh. It doesn't take life too seriously and reminds me not to do so either. So I like it. In here I have two decks, actually. My two Ted Andrews decks are in this bag. So one is a tarot, so I won't be showing that one right now since we're talking about Oracle. And then also, this is Feathered Omens Oracle deck. I love birds. And these are very accessible, like Finch, activity increases. Crane, secrets and noble guardianship. I'm trying to hold this so we don't get glare, and it's very difficult. I guess if I just keep things and don't hold them, it's working. Keep things down here. pursue your quest, goose, heron, assert when I haven't, it's weird. I've kept this deck really personal. Like I really only use it for myself, but it's a great bird deck that would be very easy to use in like a pick-a-pile or something. Cardstock is kind of flimsy, but oh, look at that hawk. Would you look at that hawk? This deck is cheesy goodness, and it has a great guidebook, and I should really use it for you guys more, so hopefully I will. Let me know if you guys want bird-centric readings, because I love birds. I love them so much. So much. Next is Dark Mirror. You know what? I'm just going to zoom in at this point because I think that will work better, don't you think? Don't you think? Since I'm not really getting to hold these up. Okay, I'm figuring it out. You guys have heard me talk about this one a lot lately. This one is my like shadow work deck because it really does ask the deep psychological questions. If you're willing to go in on that, if you're willing to go there, this deck is there for you in that respect. Okay, everything's looking pretty good now. Now that we're 20 minutes into the video, everything's looking good. Everything looks well lit, right? Anyway, this one's a confronting deck. So the thing that I use this for is like psychological confrontation. And it is very good for that. And this is one that like I gave away and it came back to me too. That happens sometimes where something comes back to you and you actually want it. I wasn't ready for it when I first got it, and I was when I got it back. Look at that. Embroidered Graveyard. This one is, what do I use this for? I don't use this much at all, truth be told. But I do sometimes like to use these cards as like altar cards or cards in spell work. I do sometimes use this deck for like, you know, attempting to talk to the dead. It doesn't work very well. It does work as far as like being like really pretty altar cards. Like you can pull out, like, you know, say you're working with Lilith that month. This is a great card to have on your altar. I renamed all the cards. Like, this is my handwriting on these cards, just so you know. This is not what it would look like if you bought it for yourself. Maxine is my soulmate cat, so I wrote Maxine on the cat card. Hell, I love this. I love the aesthetic of this deck, and it does sometimes get used in spell work or like as altar cards or things like that, because it's not very usable for anything else. It's not a great basic oracle deck. It does have some goddesses in it, but it's weird to me when a deck has like a handful of goddess cards and then a handful of something else and then a handful of something else. It sounds cute in theory, but it just doesn't work in practice. Because there are cards, like, you know, if you separated this deck into its different parts, like you could have a small pile of cards that were like basic concepts like this with trust and create. You would have a handful of animal cards, and then you would have a handful of like departed loved one cards. Like they all have these different like symbols in the corners. It's one of those things that sounds good when you're thinking of it. Like conceptually, this deck sounds so amazing, but in practice, it sucks. It really sucks. But I'm lucky that I got this as a gift. I also threw away the guidebook because it was total shit in my opinion. And I love the box, oh my god. the whole Ouija aesthetic, the fact that when you snap it closed, it says goodbye. Love it. Love the aesthetics of that. Basically, that's all it's good for, and I'm allowing myself to keep it, even though that's all it's good for. It's hard for me, but I am. Woodland Wardens, one of many animal oracle decks that I have, and I love animal oracle decks. So, yeah, happy to have it. Very happy to have it. This one is, every card has a plant and an animal. And they are just so sweet, so gorgeous. So every card, animal, plant, and then keyword. It's lovely. The guidebook is short and sweet, and Jessica Rue, who wrote the guidebook and did the artwork, I believe, she knows her shit. She knows her shit, and I am very happy with this one, because this one was like, I don't know, like $15 or something. Great investment. A Minty Oracle. This is one of my OG, very first Oracle decks that I bought back in 2019 when I started buying all the decks. This is the 42 Principles of Ma'at in Oracle form. So I benefit with gratitude. I am kind. I listen to opposing opinions. I honor the goddess. I praise the goddess and the god. Sorry, I started saying that before reading it, because I know this deck very well, and you guys have seen it 1,000 times if you watch my pick a pile readings, because I use it in most of them. I call this my moral imperative deck, because it speaks of, you know, ethics and morality, since these are principles of Ma'at. I remain in balance with my emotions. The idea is, you know, if you don't know the whole myth behind the Egyptian goddess Ma'at, when you die in the afterlife, your heart is weighed against a feather. And if your heart was light, meaning that you were a good person in life and you didn't take life too seriously, that part I added on. People don't usually say that part, but that's another aspect of your heart being light, right? I think, is you're not taking life too seriously and you're also being a good human. If your heart is light as a feather, then you will get into heaven, essentially. I communicate with compassion. I feel like I never draw this card. That's so interesting to me that, like, I can have a deck and use it all the time. I use this deck like 2 or 3, 4 times a week, more sometimes. And some of these cards I just never see, because I don't really pull this one very often either. It's interesting. Anyway, cardstock is amazing. This is the first edition, though. I don't know if they've changed it since then. I did end up having to trim this one because I edged it in black at first, and the black was smudging all over the cards, like every time I shuffled it. So I had to do like a little micro trim. I learned my lesson. Do not edge like matte cards. And don't edge matte cards with white, with a lot of white on the front in black. Don't do it. Did not go well. Another animal deck, Animal Apothecary. This is recent acquisition. I just got this like a month or 2 ago. 3, maybe. And this was a suggestion from my friend Grace. You know her, you love her. And this one is would not typically be my aesthetic, but every card has an animal and like a little phrase like sacred boundaries, transformation. You are about to shine. It's the closest thing I have to an affirmation deck, I think. And it is also proving to be very useful for pick-a-pile readings and client readings and stuff like that. It's amazing. I would recommend. It is a good, and she knows her shit too. Cara Elizabeth. She knows her shit. It's not really my aesthetic. Like, there are some cards in the deck that I fucking love, such as that one, these two. But it's good. It's sweet. It's not too, like, the language isn't too, like, hokey, you know, in the guidebook. It's compact, which I like. Doesn't take up too much space. It's a good one. It's a good one. Another animal deck. This is the first Oracle deck I bought in 2019 when I first started buying. This was the only Oracle deck I owned at that time. And the edges are like yellowed from age. I don't know if you can tell. The cardstock is amazing. I fucking love it. And it's just very simple. I added keywords to help me with, because, you know, just pulling swan, I would often be at a loss. Like, okay, what else? You know, before you make those associations yourself. Like, in my opinion, an animal oracle deck, it should have the name of the animal and it should have a couple of keywords. So I made it work for me, and I really do like it. The cardstock is amazing. It's that, like, really nice, like, soft matte that's not sticky. And it's very easy to shuffle. I don't like the backs because of all the white. I'm not a white person, but, I mean, I am a white person, but I'm not into the color white. Oh my god. Will I post this video? Probably, because I got all this shit out. I don't want to waste that effort. So that's Animal Spirit Oracle. Did I say how I use it? I use it the way you would use any animal deck. I use it a lot. Next we have Fallen Angel Oracle. This one's a big girl. 72 cards. And it aesthetically is totally my thing. It's like cemeteries, saturated, deep color tones, cheesy collage, you know, because here we have like falcon head on like a statue of a dude with wings, and it's apparently supposed to be like demons or something, fallen angels, demons, whatever. I have not used this much, but every time I get it out, this was a gift from Sylvain, so thank you, Sylvain. Every time I get it out, I am so struck by how beautiful I find it, but I just never use it. It reminds me of artwork that I would have really been into in like 1997, even though this deck came out like much later than that. When did it come out? I'm always like thinking about that. 2011. 2011 is when it came out. So I find the keywords kind of, they're really like doom and gloom. See? Upheaval. Resolution. That one's not bad. New chapter. Recuperation. Success. Okay, maybe it's not as bad as I thought. Settlement. Persuasion. Adventure. Love. Quiet strength. Okay. I definitely need to give danger. I do sort of shy away from using decks that have like, for like pick-a-pile readings or more general readings, or like my patron readings. I do shy away from using things that have cards like danger. Here's another danger right there. There's repeated keywords in this deck too, which I don't really like. I might need to spend some time with this one and like maybe add different keywords to some of them. Although this glossy cardstock does not hold the Posca marker very well, because I did add the elements and the planet, because there's an element and a planet association with each card, so I added them on when I first got this deck, but they're all chipping off, if you can see. It's coming off because of the glossy cardstock, so it's not working. Look at these colors. Fucking love these colors. So I do need to figure out a way to make this deck work for me because it's just fucking too pretty not to use. In my opinion. This is my aesthetic right here. Next is Le Vampire Oracle. This is the only, I've had like so many of these like Lucy Cavendish, Jasmine Beckett Griffith decks. This is the only one I've kept because I like the imagery the best in this one. And it is pretty usable. Like each card has, so my favorite kind of Oracle deck, can't believe I haven't even said this yet because I'm at the end. My favorite kind of Oracle deck is one that will have keywords on the deck and be perfectly usable as is. But if you want to, there's more in the guidebook. And that's what this deck is. Like, you don't need the guidebook, but if you have the time and you want to go into the guidebook's pretty fucking cool. I think. Like, I'm into this sort of fantasy atmosphere that this guidebook provides. Like, for example, just to give you an example of a card, every single card has Les Vampires Speak, the Blessing and the Curse, which is upright and reversed, basically, and then working with this card. So every single card has the opportunity for, 2 to 4 pages of information if you want, but you don't have to. Again, like you pull this card, discipline, training, consistency, and practice. You know what that means. You don't need to look at the guidebook, but you can. I don't like Oracle decks where you have to go to the guidebook. For the most part, Isis Oracle and Kali Oracle are like that. If they're not the pocket versions, you do have to go to the guidebook. You're not going to be able to intuitively read those fucking cards at all. But that's why I only have 2 of those decks, though, Sorry, it's really windy outside. And I have the window open. Call for help. Help. Please help me. I'm trapped in my closet with my Oracle decks. So this one I do not get out for very many client readings, but I really could. Now that I'm looking at this, like, these are more accessible than, you really can. You don't need the guidebook. I always think I need the guidebook with that deck, but you don't. So that's just something to remember. That's part of the reason why I'm doing this, guys. I'm going through all these decks so I can remind myself of what I have. This is my very first Oracle deck that I ever had. I got it as a teenager. I did have to rebuy it after the tornado, but this is Fairies Oracle. And this one is a, like, deep dive deck. Deep dive deck. I mean, it's like you wouldn't necessarily, this is another exception to what I was just saying. Like, you wouldn't be able to be like, he of the fiery sword, what does that mean? Like, you do need the guidebook for this one. But the guidebook is amazing for this one. I don't think I have ever used this deck for anyone other than myself. This is just like a private experience. And I'm usually in like kind of a bad place when I go to this deck. And it simultaneously comforts me and calls me on my shit. I really love this deck. I mean, this is one of my top 5. This is one that I would not want to be without. I wish I still had my original copy, because if I did, it would be like the oldest deck that I have. It would be so cool if I still had it, but whatever, I don't. So that's Fairies Oracle. And then my most recent acquisition that I just got yesterday, huge thank you to Surin who bought this for me from my wish list, because I've been adding a shit ton of Oracle decks to my wish list lately. This one is, every card has a flower and a butterfly. It's dragons with butterfly wings and flowers. So each card has keyword name of the flower, and then name of the butterfly. Because they're real butterflies' wings. They're just on dragons. And this one, so far, I've had it like 24 hours at this point. I think this is my favorite card because I love cactus. So far, I think this deck is just super sweet. It's just, if Animal Apothecary is my affirmation deck, this is my nice washed basic oracle. And that's definitely something that I do not have elsewhere, so I'm very happy to have it. So thank you again, Suren. I love it. Love, magnificence, innocence, gratitude. See, all the keywords are just sweet. Happiness, wisdom, and it's based on the language of flowers, which I don't know much about, but hopefully I will learn more about it with this oracle deck. Very, very happy to have this one. So I do think this one, I don't know exactly how I'm going to be using it because I just got it, but I'm pretty sure it will be used on the channel quite frequently. And also this is going to be a really great one to use for my patrons because not all of my patrons are into tarot, but I do a weekly reading for them anyway, so I like to use things that are pretty accessible. And this is a very accessible oracle deck, and it's definitely nice washed, but there ain't nothing wrong with reaching for a deck that's going to comfort you and make you feel better. Don't let people make you feel bad for wanting that in a deck if you do. I would say that this one is a good, if you like the imagery, of course, like you have to be into dragon, butterflies, and flowers, but if you are, I mean, I guess I can't really give a review of this deck because I've had it for a day, but first impressions, would recommend. So that's it. That is my oracle deck collection. I guess I can do like a quick top 5 right now, couldn't I? Just for funsies. You guys can guess at home if you want. If you've been around my channel for a minute, you're probably going to know exactly which are my top 5. Because of how often I use them. Vintage Wisdom, number 1, because it's most usable, basic, usable, works with everyone, great, well-rounded deck. Fairies Oracle, like I said, very, very important to me. Love it so much. So those are the top 2. I would definitely, actually, yeah, I would say that Kali Oracle. Let me find one of my favorite Kali Oracle images just because, yeah, Kamala. Let's put Kamala out here. I do think Kali Oracle would be one. Gotta go with one of my decks. I mean, I created it for myself, essentially. So Mixtress Oracle. So that's 4. Okay, here's where the pressure's really on. You know what I don't have represented here is an animal deck. Shit, which one do I pick? I love a Menti. I don't want to leave a Menti out. I don't want to leave a Goddess Oracle out. I mean, Kali counts as a Goddess Oracle. So I definitely need to pick an animal for my last pick. Animal Oracle. Oh, shit. I mean, my oldest one... That's so hard. You know what? Yeah, I am going to pick Woodland Wardens. I'm going to pick Woodland Wardens. That is a hard choice, though, for me. I wouldn't want to give up any of my animal decks. But, yeah. So these are my top 5. Woodland Wardens, Fairies Oracle, Vintage Wisdom, Kali, and, I mean, maybe I would pick the full-size Kali, but this one's great, actually, because you get really quick and dirty messages from this one, instead of having to wade through that chonker of a guidebook. Can we just stop with the... Okay, I'm going to transition from top 5 into a rant, okay? Sure, we'll just leave this shit as is. Like, I don't really care at the moment, but later when I'm watching this, I'm going to be like, bitch, why didn't you straighten those? God. Okay, that's a little better. Okay, can we just talk about guidebooks for a second? I am fucking sick of, okay, so like you're watching a flip through of, you know, someone showing off a deck, they're showing the guidebook, and they're like, oh my God, so much information. Look at all this information. They're taking it out of the box for the first time and they're calling the guidebook good simply because it's fucking thick. No. Here's what I want in a guidebook. Are you ready? Let me pick a guidebook that I think is really good. It has to be one that's actually accessible to me, because if it's not in the box with the deck, that means it is elsewhere. I mean, this one is an okay example, so I'll give the example of Enchanted Blossoms. This is a little skinny baby. We have a table of contents. Beautiful, love it. Don't really need it because the cards are in alphabetical order in this deck and there's no numbers, so it's easy to find it anyway, but if you do want table of contents, there you go. There's an introduction that is 6 to 8 pages long, and then you get into the card meanings. Card meanings, each one has 2 pages, no more. I do, like a little black and white representation of the card for the guidebook is fine if the guidebook is bigger than the cards. If there's a potential for you separating the guidebook from the rest of the deck, then I am for the little card representations, but I don't like, let me find an example of something I don't like, if I have that. Do I have an example of something I don't like here? Sorry guys, I'm trying to think. I mean, yeah, I overall I do like the Woodland Warden's guidebook, but just as an example of what I'm bitching about right now, can we do away with, okay, if you have a guidebook that is the size of your box, one of these little babies, can we do away with the full-size card image reproductions? I don't think we need it. I really don't. This guidebook would be half as chunky without that. And it's like a lot of the time, I just think it's wasting resources, it's wasting space. A lot of the time this one doesn't have this problem. Nice short and sweet description on the back of this, but a lot of the time you'll see, let's see if this one does. No, this one doesn't. But a lot of the time you'll see, like, it'll list on the back of the box, how many cards and how many pages of guidebook. It's like all they care about, and you've seen those guidebooks that, like, they're super repetitive. They have those big chunky sections in the front, like talking about how to use these cards, how to consecrate your deck, how to, like, what is tarot, and then 5 pages on that bullshit. Like, we don't need all that in every single deck. It is not needed. Maybe if it's meant to be like a very basic beginner oracle deck, tarot or oracle deck, sure, you can have that information in there, but not every deck is going to be baby's first tarot deck or baby's first oracle deck. Like, we know how to use cards at this point, right? We don't need all of that. All of that, like, in-depth introduction. Now, I understand it with decks like this, with Les Vampires, for example, because this is a world of vampires. So there are some, like, introductory pages in here, like, who are the Les Vampires? Why would they help me? Why work with them? So it's kind of an introduction into this world. So that makes sense to me. However, still, only 23 pages. Spreads, like, fine. I don't really personally care about spreads, so, I could do away with spreads too in guidebooks. I just want guidebooks to be more concise, if they're going to exist at all. And, you got to ask yourself, depending on the type of oracle deck that you're making available to the world, do you need a guidebook? Let's just go through. Let's just go through and see. This one, beautiful guidebook. I think you do want a guidebook in this case because this deck is describing the flowers that were chosen for the cards and why they were chosen and what folklore and language of flowers has to say about the symbolism behind those particular flowers. Great, beautiful, love it. This one, same. Like, Jessica Rue is actually describing why she chose the particular animal to pair with the particular plant and the particular keyword that's on the card. She's explaining, she's showing her work. She's explaining. Fairies Oracle, beautiful, wonderful, well-written, hardback, gorgeous, well-thought-out guidebook. It is absolutely essential for that deck. This one I threw the guidebook out because, like, it's basic concepts. Abundance. We don't need to be explained what abundance is. So I threw that guidebook out. I don't have a guidebook with my decks because you don't need it. You don't need it. One of my favorite guidebooks of all time is Morgan's Tarot, because it's just a little white book. Some cards have like a few paragraphs, some just have one, some just have a couple of sentences. It's whatever is needed for that particular card, and that's all it is. The introduction is 2 pages long. And then there's a using the cards for the last, like, page. And then there's a Celtic Cross on the back, like as if you're going to do a Celtic Cross with Morgan's Tarot. I mean, I guess you could, but that would be weird. Anyway, I just think we need to ask ourselves, like, why are guidebooks becoming so formulaic that we think we need all this information when maybe we don't? Maybe we don't. Not everything warrants a shit ton of information. The Fallen Angels guidebook is interesting. Why am I going on a guidebook diatribe right now? Whatever, we're just hanging out. I'm gonna continue. You guys can stop watching if you don't want to. I kind of like, okay, this guidebook does have like a lot of introductory bullshit though, doesn't it? Look. From Sylvain. I wrote that in there. Okay. It does have a lot of bullshit in here. I don't think I've ever read that. I don't think I've ever read any of that. But the actual, like, card descriptions, you know, short and sweet. And this one, I support the fact that there's a full color reproduction of the image because this is a weird box and the guidebook is bigger than the cards. So, like, you could potentially decide to store these two things away from each other, right? So that's when you should use color reproductions of the images. But, like, it's just, sometimes it's just completely unnecessary. Like, let's see, I think Everyday Witch, like, I'm totally fine with the guidebooks that don't have the images at all. Like this one, the guidebook fits in the box. It's the same size as the cards. You do not need to have the actual images of the cards in the book. You don't need it. You don't need it. That's one of the reasons why this box is cute and skinny. Love it. Beautiful. Gorgeous. Love that for you. How many guidebooks have I thrown away? I assume I threw away the guidebook for Yogic Path because it didn't come back with the deck. So I probably did. I probably threw it away, like, before I ever even sent it to Meg. Anyway, I don't know what I'm talking about. But you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't need a what is tarot section in guidebooks. We don't need the full color representation of the cards most of the time. We don't need, 12 pages on how to fucking, consecrate your deck. Don't Vegas shuffle. We don't need any of that shit. Okay? Let's be economical. Let's, if there is a reason for a chunky guidebook, like if you're creating a whole world with your tarot deck or whatever, like there is somewhat of a reason for Dark Woods' thick-ass guidebook because it's kind of written like a storybook. It's sort of telling a fairy tale. And those Llewellyn books are something special. I do think that those decks should be made available in like smaller little boxes for people that don't want that big, gorgeous book. But I only have 2 Llewellyn decks, Tarot Vampires and Darkwood Tarot, because part of the reason for that too is because I get rid of Llewellyn decks a little bit more easily if I'm not on board for that entire situation. You know what I mean? If I'm not on board with that entire situation, I will get rid of that deck. But I kept Tarot of Vampires because that guidebook is beautiful, wonderful, gorgeous. Same with the Darkwood guidebook. It's also pretty cool. So, yeah, anyway. Why are we doing guidebooks? I want to show more examples of guidebooks to show you what I like and don't like. I'm pretty sure I like this one, don't I? What does this one have as far as like introductory crap? Introduction. 3.5 pages. How to use the cards. 2.5 pages. Steps of pulling the cards. Spreads. Reading sessions. Exercises. Ooh. That's a lot. That's a lot of crap that you don't need. So I do think some of that could definitely have been taken out. But then you go straight into the cards. No image reproductions. And usually like 2 to 4 pages on each card. And then you get acknowledgments and about the author and stupid copyright crap. Hay House advertisements, whatever. So this one, you know, it could be like a good 10 to 15 pages shorter, but it's not bad. This is me being super critical, obviously. What other guidebooks can I make fun of? Oh, I like the Dark Mirror guidebook. I mean, yes, you've got multiple languages with, so that is like wasted space for whatever languages you don't speak. But it's really not bad. We've got, okay. We've got what is a dark mirror, 5 concepts, simple way to read, more advanced way to read, other stuff, and then the cards. One page for each card. So, short and sweet. I don't know. I like short and sweet guidebooks. That's all I'm saying. Oh my god. Unless, like, again, God, I don't have any examples of this. But when you get like a chunky guidebook that is actually readable, you know, that can be fun too. But there needs to be a reason for a chunky guidebook. That's all I'm saying. Like, I don't think that, you know, some things just don't need it. And that's okay. Anyway. Okay. I'm repeating myself at this point. And I having a weird week. So, like, I should probably just not even be talking anymore. Okay, bye!